Hello, students. Welcome to Module 7, Lesson 6. If you have not yet done the Gallon Man video with me, please jump over to that video and then come back to the problem set video. Reason for that is, as we're working on these problems, we will be referring to the Gallon Man. And if you did not do that video with me, then you might be a little confused, okay? We never ever want you to feel confused. We always want you to know what's going on. Without further ado, we will get started on number 1. I'll let you know ahead. We will do a few on number 1. We'll do a few in number 2, and then we'll jump on to number 3 and 4, okay? So let's get started. I'm going to do these top 4 examples, and then we'll move on to number 2. Letter A, 3 quarts plus 1 quart. Now, you'll remember from class I use lots of V's to say this is what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm taking the 3 plus the 1, and I'm adding it to be a 4. Now, notice it's 4 quarts. So can I just take the 4 over here and write it as my answer? No, that's not going to work. So I have to say, okay, 4 quarts equals how many gallons? Now, if you did the Gallon Man video with me, then you will know. Yeah, let's just do it. You will know that I can come here, look at my one big G, which stands for gallon. I can look at the 4 purple Q inside of that G, and that will help me remember 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Back over. So 4 quarts equals, in this case, 1 gallon. So my answer up there will be 1. On to letter B. 2 gallons, 1 quart plus 3 quarts. I'm going to use a V to show what I'm doing. So I'm adding together 4 quarts. Well, I'm adding together 1 plus 3 to get 4 quarts. And I can't forget to use that 2 gallons as well. So this is also part of my final answer. So 2 gallons, 4 quarts, this is going to be number of gallons. So just like I used over here, 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. I can do that over here as well. So 4 quarts here will turn into 1 gallon. So this is really like 2 plus 1 gallon, 3 gallons. Dun, dun, dun. I am going to erase this just to give me thinking room. But in your workbook, you should have plenty of room and be able to leave that thinking there. On to the next one. 1 gallon minus 1 quart. So here is where oops, what's going on? Let's erase that. All right. So here's where I'm going to take 1 gallon. I'm actually going to change it into 4 quarts. Okay, so I'm changing it. I'm converting it before I'm doing the problem. Notice this is subtraction. So 4 minus 1 equals 3 quarts. I've already done the changing here. Quarts minus quarts will still be quarts. On to letter D. 5 gallons minus 1 quart equals how many gallons and how many quarts? So here's where I'm going to take the 5 apart. We'll call this a number bond. 4 gallons. And that 5 gallons is now turning into 4 gallons plus 1 more gallon, but I'm going to change it into quarts. So that would be 4 quarts. Think like a gallon of milk, and you can divide that into 4 quarts. All right, so here we go. The 4 minus 1 is what I want to do now for 3. Okay, so at the end, I'm still going to have 4 gallons left, and now I'm going to have 3 quarts left. Alrighty, ready for number 2. Here we go. In number 2, we're going to do 3 examples. All right. Letter A, 6 gallons, 3 quarts plus 3 quarts. So I'm going to add the 2 together that are the same, quarts. So now I have 6 gallons and 6 quarts. It wants me to, or before I write, could I just write 6 gallons and 6 quarts up here? I could, but my answer would be wrong, unfortunately. So let's try again. 6 quarts, then I'm going to take that apart into 4 and 2. Reason is because 4 quarts will equal 1 gallon. So this really becomes 6 gallons plus 1 gallon plus 2 quarts. So it becomes 7 gallons, 2 quarts as my final answer. On to the next one. 10 gallons plus 3 is 13 gallons. 3 quarts plus 3 quarts is 6 quarts. So same thing, before I write my final answer, I need to be sure this is in the best form. 6 quarts, we're going to take it apart into 4 and 2 because 4 is going to become another gallon. So this is going to say 14 gallons because I'm taking 13 plus 4 quarts, which is changing it into 1 gallon. So 13 plus 1 is 14 with 2 quarts left over. Letter C. This is a subtraction problem. So I will need to do some regrouping. This is where I take apart the gallons. I will have 8 gallons. Now I'm taking 1 gallon and turning it into pints. I'm going to go check my gallon man here. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. I don't need that information. I need pints. So 1 gallon equals 8 pints. So coming here and saying 8 pints. Now this isn't just 8 pints though, because notice there's still another pint up there. This is actually 9 pints. So I'm going to rewrite my problem. 8 gallons, 9 pints minus 2 pints. So I have 8 gallons and 7 pints. Phew. Okay. If you are feeling a little overwhelmed or like I just did all that really fast, you can always go back and watch it again. You can always go back and watch the Gallon Man video. Okay. These are meant to be helpful. On to number 3. Okay, you'll notice down in the corner, I am making this video at 12:55, right before some of you are waiting for me in a question and answer Zoom call. So if we don't have enough time for the rest of this page, my apologies, okay? I'm doing the best I can to make all these math videos and answer all of your questions, okay? Let's continue on number 3. The capacity of a pitcher is 3 quarts. Right now, it contains 1 quart and 3 cups of liquid. How much more liquid can the pitcher hold? So instead of a tape diagram, I'm just going to go with a rectangle. Maybe I'll draw a little handle and call it a pitcher. Okay? The capacity of the whole thing is 3 quarts. I know because it just told me up here. Right now, it contains, so let's draw a line, 1 quart and 3 cups of liquid. How much more? So here's my question. I will need to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. I will need to subtract. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ready. 3 quarts minus 1 quart and 3 cups. Now you'll remember in problems like, let's go with 41 minus 7. You'll remember in problems like this, you need to take from the 4, the borrow so that you're able to subtract, right? Does that look familiar? Okay, we got to do something similar here. Oh, wait, little dot. There we go. Got to do something similar here. We're going to take 1 quart and we're going to turn it into cups. I'm going to go back to my gallon man. 1 quart is 2 pints is 4 cups. So I'm taking the quart and I'm turning it into cups. Also going to erase those lines because I don't want them to confuse me later. 1 quart equals 4 cups. So again, what I did was I took from this 3, I crossed it out, I wrote a 2 because I'm borrowing 1 quart, bringing it over, converting it into cups so that I'm able to subtract. 4 minus 3 equals 1 cup. And then 2 quarts minus 1 quart equals 1 quart. So the question, how much more liquid can the pitcher hold? I will say the pitcher can hold 1 quart, 1 cup more. There we go. All right, it is 12:58. Let's try to do 4A before I have to jump over to this. 12:59. Here we go. How much lemonade does the recipe make? Oh, Dorothy follows the recipe in the table to make her grandma's cherry lemonade. So we got to add all this up. How much lemonade does it make? The key to adding these up is to line up the things that are in common. So what I would do is at the top, I'd say gallons, quarts, pints, and cups. Because as we're adding these up, we want to be sure that we're adding the like groups together. So lemon juice, first we've got 5. Sugar syrup, oh my goodness, that's going to be 2 cups. That's a lot of sugar. Water, 1 gallon and 1 quart. And cherry juice is 3 quarts. So now I'm going to add these up. I have 2 cups. I have... My pen just turned off. That's not good. Here we go. 5 pints, 4 quarts, and 1 gallon. Now, before we write this down as our final answer, we need to be sure it's in the best form. So coming back to Gallon Man. Oh, I shouldn't have written pints here. I should have written cups. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Hopefully that didn't confuse any of you. 2 cups. There it is. Okay, so 1 pint equals 2 cups. I'm going to take that back over here. Okay, here I have 2 cups. I'm going to cross it out, and I'm actually going to write 1 pint. I'm just changing it. Trying to draw an arrow, but it's not wanting to draw. I'm late for my Zoom meeting. Okay, this is 6 pints. 6 pints then I can turn into, let's see, 2 pints is what I need for a quart. So 6 pints would become 3 quarts. So here I'm going to draw an arrow. This becomes 3 quarts. I'm going to cross that out. This becomes 7 quarts because I'm adding 4 plus 3. And then 7 quarts, 4 of those quarts can become a gallon. So let's go do that. I'm going to take just 4 of them. So I'm going to take 1 of those and add it. So here I have 2 gallons and 3 quarts. Okay, because I can't forget that part. So the recipe makes 2 gallons. Oh dear. 2 gallons. 3 quarts. All right, so we're going to stop today because my pen is giving up and I'm late for a Zoom meeting. All right, I'll see y'all next time.